Everybody, how's it going? This is your boy DrkBLADExx of Dark Enforcers, aka Black Hawk Division Leader for DCUO. What's going on? What's good with you, pimp? Although I should be saying Dark Enforcers Gaming Network. What's good with y'all? Anyway, as you can tell in the video, we are in the T7. Sorry, I kind of stuck my tongue. We are in the T7 Science Spire, doing the feat known as Insecurity Devices. So you can see the video's a little long. It's actually longer than what you're seeing right now, though. I'm gonna fast forward. Alright, while this is fast forwarding, I'm gonna go over this real briefly. Anybody who's ever watched any of my feat videos know that I do it from the perspective of you being able to just come into the content, not be OP as well. Most of my videos are. I do it from a high CR, but what I mean is, I'll walk you through it as if you're just being able to just enter the content, even though I'm at a higher CR in the video. Now, let's go back to what we're talking about now. Okay, so if you guys go to the feat menu, then go down to episodes, then go to Science Spire and Phantom Zone DLC, you'll see a feat in there called Insecurity Devices. Pretty much defeat the final boss in this solo without letting any bombs go off, and only after you destroy at least 4 of those bombs. Now, I do admit I probably shouldn't be in the feats menu and stuff like that in the middle of combat, because then things like this happen. Yeah, I'm about to get one-shotted. This is a voiceover. Anywho, like I was saying earlier, when I do my feat videos, I do myself from perspective of you being, you know, a low CR. So I try to walk you through it. So, for this, I'm going to say, try to be at least 150. It gives you a little bit more survivability. Try to be at least 150, maybe higher than that. Try to at least be 150 or around 150. As with the other videos I said, when I say around 150, I also include like 147 of being around 150. So whatever have you. Take from this what you will. Alright, now let's get back on track. This feat of, you know, fighting the last boss and disabling any bombs that show up and make sure that you at least do 4 of them, it's nothing new. You've done things like this before in a lot of old content. But, you know, let's just talk about the recent content. There was, you know, Flash Museum Duo where you had to do this for a feat, and then there was Demon's Pit Duo where you had to do this for a feat. So it's nothing new. Only thing different now is that this is a solo. You're by yourself. So it might be a little bit tricky, but I'll give you tips on how to beat that still. However, I will say this. If you're a pet power, aka Earth or Sorcery, this may be even more easier for you. I'm just saying. I didn't find this feat hard at all whatsoever. Besides the, you know, everything being like 10 CRs over me. But besides that, I didn't find anything like really hard about it. No, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a pet player. You know, I'm not just saying that because I'm a pet power. I'm saying that because, you know, not because Crystal is just OP and just killing shit. I'm saying that because being a pet power means like having a second player with you. I'll touch more on that in a couple seconds, but because of which it's a little bit easier to play this, which I'll get into it. But before I talk about pet powers, I want to talk about non-pet powers. So, if you're not a non-pet power, how would you do something like this? Well, it's still the same type of concept. You have moves at your disposal. Look at your moves, at your loadout bar. Does any move do knockback? Does any move do stuns or encasements or anything like that, part of your loadout? Whenever you're about to go and grab, you know, said bomb, that's when you want to use your encasements or your CC effect moves. You know, saying your stuns, knockbacks, whatever have you. That's when you want to do that, so that you can actually go and grab said bombs without being interrupted. So this is all about making sure that you do not get interrupted even one time in trying to grab these bombs. Because losing when you get interrupted, it's too late to go back and try again sometimes. So what I'm saying is, look at your loadout bars. Also, even if you're doing this in DPS form, almost every power in the game has a shield. Those shields can be used to give you a couple seconds of not being able to acquire any CC effects, such as stun, knockbacks, encasements, etc. And interruptions. Now, they work a lot better outside of DPS role, but that doesn't mean they don't work in DPS role. And this is a solo, so dominance is going to be pretty big. What I mean is this. It takes a lot less dominance to do things, since this is a solo. For instance, in a raid, you need a lot more dominance for you to have any type of control over somebody. But in a solo, it requires a lot less. We're talking like DPS less. So yeah, your dominance is going to be greater. So, lose your shield to make sure that you can't get interrupted, and use your shield to grab the bombs if you're having trouble. So that is my tip for you. For, non-power roles. Now, if you're a pet power, this is going to be a lot easier. And also, if you guys need more tips than that for non-pet players, leave a comment in the section below and I will get back to you, I promise. But now let's move on to you pet players. And now, keep in mind, I am not saying that pet powers are OP. Yeah, there are a little bit, but that's not the reason that this is going to be easy. That is not. It has nothing to do with your damage, okay? It has nothing to do with your damage. Hear me out. It's for a completely separate reason, and I do mean completely separate. It has nothing to do with damage. It's all about, well, aggro. Having a pet means distracting the enemy. You see, because it's like having two people on the same field. You're not always going to have aggro. Somebody else is going to have aggro. It's not just going to be you getting attacked full 24/7. Now, let's keep in mind, like most people have noticed with pet powers is that one of you is going to be getting more aggro. Loosely, it's you and not your pet. But sometimes it's also your pet. So, with that being said, if you give your pet the tools, let your pet run free. What I mean is this. As long as I don't hit any more powers, using powers gives you aggro. That goes for any role in the game. Now, certain roles have more aggro than others, but when you're in a solo, that's just you, really. So, with that being said, as long as I'm not really like spamming my powers, I don't really have to worry too much about getting aggro. Which means that my pet, who's going to keep attacking continuously, will be having aggro. Now, what you want to do here is attack him long enough for the bombs to drop. After that, you can kind of stop attacking if you want to. Or you can keep attacking. Just make sure that you don't kill him. Now, this goes for pet powers. I would stop attacking whatsoever. Stop giving your pet power, all that stuff. Just stop, stop. Because the boss needs to live through all 4 bomb placements at least. You can't do less than 4. You can do 4, or you can do higher, but you can't do less than 4. So you have to disable at least 4 bombs. And I see he has a pull move on you that you need to worry about too. So this may take a couple tries, but keep in mind, if you ever mess up, just wipe. Just wipe. Come back into the room, try again. Now here's my tips for people who are lower CR than this and don't have pet powers. It's pretty much the same thing. You won't always have aggro, but you also have lowest in the room, so it kind of helps you out too. Especially if you can kind of pin between those two machines right there and then have lowest come in, kind of blocking the way a little bit. Kind of works out for you. See that right there? Yeah, it kind of works out for you. On top of that, let's say that you're not even doing this as a DPS. Let's say you're doing this as a support role, which some people do. I don't really think it's a good idea, but yeah, some people do that. So anyway, yeah, some people do the support roles. So then you would have, tank, healer, or troll. Use your role to your benefit. These roles have stuns, they have entrapments, they have, knockbacks, things like that that you can use to activate bombs. Use that to your advantage. Especially your shielding. If you have a shield, use it. Anytime a bomb comes up, put your shield up and go. And go to deactivate. So I hope these tips have helped you guys out. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them in the section below and I will get back to you. And sorry for taking so much of this video to talk about powers instead of the feat. Sorry about that. I got a little carried away, but it was for a point. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. This is DrkBLADExx, Dark Enforcers, aka Black Hawk Division Leader for DCUO. Dark Enforcers, Darkness Rises. Holla, and thanks for watching.